Alright guys, welcome to some F1 2020 My Career Mode. Here, we are trying to make Wiliiams racing great again. As you can see, Wiliiams is all the way down at the bottom of the performance chart, and we would try to grind and develop the car to compete with the best of the best soon. Now we're just gonna set up the settings and race format, and we're good to go. Alright guys, welcome to the Wiliiams Racing HQ. We got a letter from our team principal, Claire Williams, welcoming us to her team. Now we take a look at the facilities, all spec 1 except the durability department, R&D. Now we're at the bottom of all the teams. So we see our powertrain or the engine somewhat at the top, our aero sucks, our chassis suck. Durability is a bit okay. So now we upgrade both our aeros, the front downforce and the rear downforce. Now we're gonna save up for the chassis, so we advance the schedule to get the resource points so we can upgrade. Before the car reveal, we're gonna upgrade the chassis. It's time for the car reveal. So Wiliiams with a beautiful combination of white and blue on the car. Now we got a letter from Carl Williams again. And now we take a look at our contracts. Our teammate George Russell, 83 rated. Us, we got some money to spare, so we can buy some driver perks, the development feedback. Now we just advance the time.
Our new parts have been completed without issue.
Nice.
They'll be on the car ready for the next race week.
Alright, let's go to race weekend.
Great, you're done with the technician's briefing. Look, I know we've got a lot to get through in FP1, but Will Buxton's been pushing for a quick interview before you head out on track. Don't worry too much, he's a good lad. He's just over there. These media appearances are important for a few reasons. They'll help build your profile and your brand. Plus, your team will get a real boost to their motivation if they hear you praising them. Will, as promised, sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, mate, not a problem at all, not a problem.
Look, we've got to be out on track in about 5 minutes for FP1, so we can only spare you a couple of minutes max. Is that going to be enough time?
More than enough, we're already set up. Cool, let's go. So, we're used to seeing rookies in Formula One every year, but this season there's a youngster that's arrived with perhaps a little more interest in them than usual. And that's because while they've been successful at every level of their career from karts all the way through to Formula 2, they've somehow managed to stay pretty much under the radar. They don't have that luxury anymore though. They're in Formula 1. Millions of people around the world watching their every move, both on and off the racetrack. So let's take some time to get to know them a little bit better.
So tell us a little about yourself. What's the thing you're most excited about being here in Formula One? After your successful junior career, you must have had a lot of interest. What drew you to sign for your current team?
Well, I say the power unit, because quite frankly, that all sucks.
What would you say is going to be the biggest challenge for you this season?
Really appreciate your time, but I know you're very keen to get on. Best of luck out there.
So here we are, it's our first ever race weekend for Formula 1 here in Melbourne, Australia. And it's our very first practice. So here we're just filling the track, its turns and everything, and also getting the feel of the car. It really shows that the car is the bottom of the aerodynamics. There's a lot of understeer. I just need to practice and get used to this shitbox as they call it. Here we just look at the track and all its turns. Now going to the last turn, start to the finish straight. The results of practice 1, you can't be seen and you need to scroll down. Me and my teammate still pretty good at the practice. Now we go to qualifying. So after our first lap of qualifying, we did a 123.5. That's a bit bad. Now we're P18. So got time for another run. As you can see here, the second lap, so we're up by 5/10, so that's good. But we're gonna have a bad exit right here. So the delta time is going down. And P16. So our final attempt is, we're up but not much. So I think it's not gonna change anything. And now we're down to P17. So yeah, we're gonna end the qualifying session P17. So we're gonna start the race at P17. Now qualifying is done, and now it's time for racing.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Here we are then, Formula 1 in 2020. The fight for the World Championship all starts here today. Mercedes on the hunt for a 7th consecutive title. They'll have Ferrari and Red Bull to contend with along the way. Wiliiams struggled to find their feet last year. They'll be hoping for a stronger start this time around. And what I wonder of the Renault-powered cars. Will they be able to step forward? Maybe even onto the podium on a regular basis. Plenty to discuss then with Anthony Davidson. He's out of hibernation too, and alongside me in the commentary box once again.
It's good to be back, Crofty. Let's hope for some good racing today. We can't know at this point how competitive these teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody is able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Albon, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz and Lando Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Pierre Gasly and Kvyat, Magnussen, Grosjean, Midas and Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here's a strategy for this race. Going harsh to soft, basically slow to faster tires. So as the 5 red lights go off here in Melbourne, we're gonna start our first ever race in Formula 1. Now a good start from us. Now rich mix in overtake mode. Going to the inside of turn 1. Side by side with Kvyat down to turn 2. And now we are at P15. Gasly is going to the outside. We're defending the inside line. A bit of bump with Kvyat. Now with Gasly, as we managed to hold the position. So now the cars are starting to line up.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
And there's a lockup down in front. So now an update after lap 1. Hamilton with already a healthy lead to Bottas on P2. Verstappen on P3 and Albon on P4. Leclerc, Ricciardo, and I think that's Perez on P7. Vettel between the 2 McLarens. P11 and P12, Ocon and Stroll. And now us, a bit far off the order. Remember, we are on hard tires, so that we will be slower in the starting laps. And now here comes Gasly attacking, and we're defending the inside line. And we defend the position. But now Gasly is being attacked by Giovinazzi. And now Gio is ahead of Gasly. So now we are still P15. Gio is now P16 and Gasly down to P17. And now after just 2 laps, Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen are way up ahead of Albon on P4.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Here at the start of lap 4, here's Stroll making a move behind Esteban Ocon for 11th position. Stroll has DRS and goes to the outside. Stroll is gonna have DRS again for the next turn. And now Stroll side by side with Ocon. Stroll going again on the outside. And now makes the move stick. Meanwhile, in lap 4, I'm down to P16 after being overtaken by Gio. Now Gasly and Grosjean are right behind me. bit of mistake there for me. And now both Gasly and Grosjean are going in for the attack. Gasly and Grosjean are side by side. Gasly struggling for traction on the exit. That gives Grosjean a chance. On to the last two turns. Still side by side. And Gasly comes out ahead to stay on P17. Here at the end of lap 5, a bit of wide on the exit, and Gasly has DRS. He just cruised past
Come
me
on,
easily.
you can win that place back.
And now down again to P17, we're starting the race. But again, we are on the ultimate strategy, going hard to stops, so we just need a bit of patience. Still on lap 6, Grosjean fancies a move on the outside, and we bumped a bit. And here comes my teammate George Russell joining in the fight. Side by side with the drivers, and Russell and Grosjean hit each other. And now Kimi goes in for the inside of Grosjean. I think Grosjean has damage. Yes, and now he pits. Unlucky for Grosjean.
Yellow flag.
And now there's a yellow flag.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
And it's Ocon. We have a
Okay,
position.
clear. Some information on Ocon. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
And here in lap 9, as you can see on the minimap, a Mercedes goes to the pits. And it's Hamilton. Hamilton comes in for a stop. It's for a fresh hearts, I assume. Also, Verstappen going to the pits. And that leaves Bottas on the provisional pole at the moment. The rest of the soft tire drivers are also going into their first and only stop. And now because I'm in the hard tires, I can go longer and gain some positions.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon. Okay, gap ahead is 3.2 seconds.
Now on the end of lap 10, Bottas is in for his stop. Hamilton. There goes Hamilton. And where's Verstappen? Oh, there's Verstappen. Oh, it's gonna be real close. And Verstappen overtakes Bottas. He got the undercut. Nice job by Verstappen. Now as it stands, Hamilton in the lead. Verstappen P2 and Bottas P3. Now at the end of lap 10, the rest of the soft tire guys are going in for their stops. And would gain positions.
You've moved into P7.
P7. Thanks, Jeff. Now we are being P7. can see in front that Gasly is getting close to Gio, and Gio is on the old softs. Gasly going into the slipstream of Gio, DRS. And Pierre Gasly moves up a place. Now Gasly is P4, Giovinazzi is P5, and me ahead of Albon and Leclerc, who are closing in fast. Lap 16, Albon and Leclerc are already on my tail. Actually, there's a train forming now behind me. And here comes Alexander Albon on the outside trying to make a move. But we defend the position. Again, Albon is closing up fast with DRS. We defend the inside position again. Here comes Albon again, not giving up. We are still going to defend the place. Sector 3, Albon and Leclerc are battling out side by side in turn 13. Still side by side in turn 14. And Albon gets ahead. And now at the back of me, the three cars are also battling it out for P7. They're going 3 wide, going to turn 1. Now Sainz going to the outside of Perez. And Sainz gets the job done. Nice driving by the three. Meanwhile, out in front, the battle for second place. Bottas is closing in on Verstappen. Now Bottas has DRS, and Verstappen defends the inside line. But Bottas has the inside for the next turn. And still, Verstappen comes out ahead. But Bottas is still right in his tail. Bottas still trying to make a move with Verstappen. Verstappen backs up, but still manages to stay ahead. Bottas would have DRS on the next straight. They are really close. In fast, he would have DRS again out in turn 2. Yellow flag, we have a yellow flag. But still, Bottas attacks Verstappen on the outside. And now Bottas makes the move stick for second place. Nice move by Bottas. Now at the end of lap 19, we pit for our only stop, going in for the soft tires.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Now we are in P14, 8 seconds behind Giovinazzi, but we are in the soft tires, so we would be faster. Now in lap 22, we are just 3 seconds behind Giovinazzi. We are closing in fast. At the end of lap 24, we are very close to Gio. Now we have the DRS, using everything we got, getting the
There's 5
slipstream,
laps of fuel remaining.
and now we go to the outside.
Great maneuver. You made it look easy.
Thanks, Jeff. Now on to next. Now at the end of lap 27, we're so close to Max that it didn't realize that Perez is getting closer and closer.
Okay,
Perez
gap ahead is
time,
2.0 seconds.
but we go aggressive to defend the place. But now Perez has DRS and goes to the outside. Now as he locks up, we get the traction and still manage to be ahead. Still in lap 28, Perez is still on my tail. And he's going to the outside.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Now we have DRS, going all out with rich mix and overtake. But Perez slams the door
There's
shut,
only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
and now I don't have the tires to attack anymore, and I think it's P14 for me. Meanwhile, after a superb drive by Lewis Hamilton, he takes the checkered flag and wins the Australian Grand Prix. And Valtteri Bottas makes it a Mercedes 1-2. And Max Verstappen crossed the line, P3, to round out the podium. Now for us, our very first race in Formula 1, we come to the line to take P14.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And we have the driver of the day. We started P17 and we ended P14. Not bad.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
I have to give it to Midas. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
Let's move on to the Constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
Appreciate your time.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when you go to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Peace!